So in order for the user to sign in, we will display a view where the user will enter the username and password, clicks the button, and the user will be signed in. So again, we will have two actions, one for HTTP GET and one for HTTP POST. So let's create the HTTP GET one first. And this is gonna be public iActionResult. I'll call it sign in. And just like with the registration, all we're displaying is an empty view with the text boxes that the user enters the values in. So we'll return a view. Now let's do the HTTP POST. Let's also add the validate forgery token. And then we'll create the action. So this is gonna be public iActionResult. I'll call it sign in. And here we need to pass in the sign in object that we created in our models that will have the name, the password, and also the remember me. So we are going to pass in the object of sign in. That's our model, and I'll call it sign in. So first, let's check the model state. So if the model state is valid, then what we're gonna do is to sign the user in. So I'm going to create a variable result, and we'll go to a sign-in manager, and then we have the method there for the identity called password sign-in async. So we'll call this method and pass in the information for the sign-in in. And what we need to pass in is the username, so that's coming from the argument signin.username. Then we have the password, so this is coming in from the signin.password. And then we have the remember me, so that's coming from the signin.rememberme. After that, we can specify whether this is persistent, meaning whether the user will stay signed in even if the application closes. And by default, we don't want to do that, only if the user actually clicks the remember me. So I'll specify false, so we don't want this persistent. And at the end, I'll get the result, and the result is going to be assigned to the result variable. So we can check if this result succeeded. So if the result.succeeded, then everything is okay, the user signed in successfully, and we redirect the user to the list action for the employee manager controller, because we want to have the user to view the employees. So this is gonna return a redirect to action, and we are redirecting to action. We called it list, I believe. Let me just open employee manager controller. Yeah, we have the list, and the controller is the employee manager. Now, if the result didn't succeed, the user is not logged in, then we'll add the error to the model state, just like we did for the registration. So this is going to be model state dot add model error. Again, we don't need the key, and the error can simply say invalid user details. So all of this is if the model state is valid. If everything is okay, we are going to redirect to the list action. If something fails, we'll add the model state error, and we will return the view. So we are going back to the sign-in view, and we are passing in the original sign-in object. So we pass in the sign-in argument. Oh, I have a mistake here. It's return, of course. And finally, let's also create a sign out action.